So hi everyone, hope you can hear me. In case if anyone is having hearing difficulties or they are not able to see me, they can just type a message in Google chat, okay? Or in the entire process, if you guys have any question, you can actually type a message and I'll be responding to that, okay? So as we are here for like a specific topic, which is related to best programming language for 2023. First of all, like we will be discussing fundamentals, and then we will be looking more into how to choose a programming language that could be a best choice for you for this particular year or in upcoming years. So that like in this particular meet, we will be learning how to select a programming language which can give you a better career. But before going into that, let me introduce myself. I'm Vasu Naman, founder of Virazu Labs Private Limited. I am doing programming from last 10 plus years, and I have created multiple startups. So I hope I'm the best person who can actually guide you in selecting programming languages, because it can give you possibilities to get a job quite easily, or in case if some of you are budding entrepreneurs, you can learn from my experience as well. Okay. So considering that, I believe all of us can hear me. In case someone is not, they can type no if it is okay. I request you guys to say yes, so that like I can get a confirmation that you are able to hear me properly. Okay, great. Okay, so I believe like I'm audible and you can see me as well. So let's proceed. So is any one of you here is having any experience, or all of you are freshers?
वासु लेता है क्लास, हम अरेंज करवाते। कितना आदमी पता है? बिस्किट का पैकेट कहाँ गया?
Looks like all of you are freshers. So let's think about this. What happens? First of all, we need to understand what is a programming language. Okay. So we need to consider programming language as a tool which helps us to develop something which we want to be deployed in a virtual environment. Okay, so it could be a mobile application, it could be a web application, it could be a desktop application, or nowadays smart TV applications, or maybe some IoT devices, or like some like a smart contracts like blockchain. Okay, so there could be multiple use cases of programming languages. At the same time, why we need to deploy, even why we need to create something. Okay, so we need to understand why do we really need to create some kind of application which is built on top of a programming language. Okay, so when we say like we want to create something, or we want to create an application, we have to understand this word, what this application word means. So we're applying something into a specific requirement. So there are multiple use cases. So if you want to talk to your friend, you use WhatsApp, okay, or Skype, or maybe Google Chat. So there are different tools for a specific use case. If you want to do some social media interaction, you go to Facebook, Instagram, and other tools, Snapchat, for example. Okay, so like you have another use case where you are using another tool. So use the word that think about the word that I'm using. I'm using the word tool. Okay, to take some action or to solve a specific problem that you have. You wanted to chat, you utilize a tool. You wanted to have some social interaction, you utilize another tool. So suppose if you want to book a ticket, you go to IRCTC website. If you want to like book a flight ticket, you go to another website. Okay, so different use cases requires different kind of tool. Okay, and what are these use cases? Use cases are something which increases your productivity. So in previous days, we used to book ticket by going into the railway station, or maybe airports, and then we used to do that, or maybe using some of the middlemen who are like into this particular process. But nowadays we can just go to our computer and do a specific, like click few buttons, put our details and we can book a ticket. Okay, so this tool has actually helped us to modify or improve our experience of booking tickets. Okay, so this is how any tool works. Now, to develop any tool, we need a programming language. Okay, because any tool can be developed using a programming language. Any questions till now, or in case if you have any question, even in between, you can type a message, and I will come to that particular question. Okay, so nowadays we need to understand what is going to happen in upcoming future, so that we can decide what tools can be generated and how we can select a programming language which will help me to develop a tool. Okay, now as a normal definition of tool is a kind of object or something which increases your productivity. So if you want to put nails in a wood, then you just need a hammer and it will work. Okay, similarly, like they're different. So hammer is a tool. Okay, in this specific case, so we have to create tools, whether we are looking for a job or whether we are looking for an entrepreneurship. We have to create tools which increases the productivity of other individuals, so that they can actually utilize it. Considering that this is the case of, or you can say this is a day-to-day activity for a business. So every business requires a tool which will increase their productivity, and increasing the productivity means decreasing the cost. Okay, and the agenda of every business, okay, is to decrease the cost so that they can achieve more profit. If they will have more profit, they will be able to allocate that particular money or profit into their other ventures, or maybe inside their own organization. So every company nowadays looking for programmers. Every company. When I say every company, I'm talking about even law firms are looking for programmers. Okay, so there was a few years ago, there were different sector where programmers were not required, but nowadays even a small shop require a programmer. When I say a small shop, I'm not talking about kirana stores. I'm talking about like well-defined shop where they have good revenues, because they want to increase their productivity. And as future set of programmers that we are here, like we are talking about programming, we are trying to learn programming, or we are going to just complete our bachelor's. Okay, we need to think about what we are going as a community. Okay, what we are going to develop in near future, so that we can decide which programming language we can choose today, which will help me to have a very good career in upcoming future. Does that make sense, guys? You can type yes, or you can like ask me questions. Okay, so I'm just waiting for any questions which pops in, or in case if it is not, I will be proceeding. In case if someone is looking for me to speak in Hindi, if they are not good with English, you can type that yes, I want to hear in Hindi, because I'm not understanding two things. So it will help me to like communicate with you guys better. Okay. Also, we will be putting probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes question and answer session at the end of like this particular webinar. Okay, so that in case if you have any question which has not been answered or which has not been asked, you can ask me. Okay, so I'm proceeding. So now what we have discussed till now is that we need to understand what is going to happen in near future, which will help us to decide which programming language we will choose today, which is going to help us to learn it, because every programming language requires you to learn their constructs. Okay, so if you have learned C or C++ or Java in your college, you have definitely learned the constructs. When I say construct, you have learned about like how you can define variables, how you can manage the scoping. When I say scoping means like public, private variables, or how do you manage classes, the fundamental concepts of any object-oriented programming. And if we are talking about just C, we need to understand how to use enums, how to use macros. Okay, so we have already learned that. Okay, and now we want to develop something. So if today we just know C, okay, how it is going to help us in our career. Okay, because there are so many like obviously there are few companies which are using C nowadays, which are into like production of drivers, or maybe in hardware integration, like low level hardware integration, they're using C. But reaching to those companies, as well as the number of job openings are there, are very limited. So you have to either be very good at this particular language, or you will not get a job if you are just into C. Okay, so we need to introspect first what programming language we need to choose today, so that we can make a better future in upcoming days. And obviously, as I said, it will like require some kind of learning curve. So any programming language that you will choose today will require you to learn it, become better at it, and then it will help you to grow in your career. Okay, clear till now? Type yes if you have any questions, because I am looking if you guys have any questions so that I can answer that along the way, or I have to proceed. Okay, so so once you have chosen like once you have selected that, okay, now I have to choose a programming language, okay, which will help me to build my career, but I do not know what is going to happen in near future. So as you guys are like in colleges, or maybe some of you might have some experience working somewhere as an intern. Okay, so you might have seen everybody is talking about blockchains, everybody is talking about like AI, everybody is talking about IoT nowadays. Even IoT has been introduced in the college curriculum recently. Okay, so like you might have heard about these buzzwords. Okay, and you're excited that what if I learn IoT, will I get my job in a like recent job in maybe in robotics, or if I learn about like Python, will I get a job in blockchain? Okay, so these are some of the confusion that most of the students are having nowadays, and that's why we are using this particular webinar, so that we can make it clear and give you guys a better understanding of what you should be selecting today to make a better career in future. Okay, so let's talk about few of the technologies that we like we are having a buzzword, like everybody is talking about these technologies today. Okay, so first we will talk about AI. Second, we will talk about blockchain. Third, we may talk about IoT, and then we will talk about web technologies, mobile application development, or smart TV application development, maybe a smart watch application development, and we will think and we will verify what is the upcoming future in this, and how we can select a technology or a programming language which can help us to build our career in most of it. Okay, when I say most of it, what do I mean? Okay, so as a when you just pass out from like your colleges, okay, you need to have like a very good understanding of at least one programming language, because every company is looking for a person who is having a good understanding of at least one programming language, because they can actually learn on top of that particular language. So they like we can consider that if I know Python, I can use Python as a base, and then I can learn anything, because I know something like how to write a better program, how to write better codes, how to comment it, how to write unit test cases. Okay, so this will help me to write something better or understand something better, even if I have to choose another programming language. Does that make sense? Type yes. In again, if any query, please message me. Okay. So, so when you select a programming language, or when we try to understand what is going to happen in near future, we will understand how to select a programming language. So let's talk about AI. AI is nowadays in as a buzzword. So AI can be developed using different technologies. Inside, if you are developing an AI tool, Python is the best choice nowadays, because most of the people are using Python. Okay, and if you want to train your AI, you can use Python, but you also require JavaScript, because you have to either create a front end to display the messages. So you are training your bot, okay, as well as when your bot is trained, it has to reflect a message which will be deployed or which will be shown at the front end, there you might need JavaScript. Okay, so if we talk about AI, we use like two different technologies, Python and JavaScript. There are other technologies that we can use, but there is a reason why I'm using these two terms only. Okay, because I'm going to switch to again blockchain. Okay, so blockchain we can use again Python. Okay, we can use Scala, we can use Go. Okay, but now you see that Python is here as well. Okay, so if you want to use like develop your smart contracts, you can develop it using Python. Okay, if we talk about IoT, okay, we can again use different languages, but still Python can be used. Okay, or JavaScript can be used for front end interactions. Okay, so if you want to develop a web interface for your IoT to change the color of a button or a icon, if the like, so suppose you're developing an IoT in a machinery, when it gets hot, it will send a message to the front end and it will show that the button got red. Now you have to take action because you have to turn off that particular device. Okay, so that interaction can be done using JavaScript, whereas the information that is getting post can be developed using Python. Okay, and obviously you can use different technology for notification and other, like you can use Parse, or you can use Firebase, or you can use your own notification system. Like if you know about AWS, you can use SNS. Okay, so now what we have seen that even these three upcoming requirements in near future, where industry will be requiring blockchain, they will definitely require blockchain. Industry will be requiring some IoT. So when I say industry, it's not just the software industry. There are like huge different industries are out there. Okay, so like they will be requiring some IoT, and obviously AI is going to be the future. We all know about that. Okay, but if we think, or if we just draw three circles, okay, just imagine we are drawing three circles in which we have written AI, in which we have written blockchain, if we have written IoT. Okay, and then we have written the programming languages inside it. You will see that there is an intersection, okay, where we have Python and JavaScript. Okay, so why not we just learn these two tech, okay, or just one of them, okay, for now, and then there it will open the doors in all of the technologies. But think about if you're learning C++, because you can use C++ for blockchains as well. You can use C++ for IoT as well. Okay, but will it help you to do web application development? Will it help you to do mobile application development? Answer is no. So why not select something? And if we, by following the same concept, we will be drawing circles like we have learned in our school days. Okay, that when you have to find a superset, subset, intersections. Okay, so if we draw multiple circles or multiple boxes, and we try to understand what is the programming language which is at the intersection of all the upcoming requirements in near future, we will see that Python and JavaScript is coming into our view constantly. Okay, that does not mean I'm not saying you should not learn another programming language. You definitely should learn at least 5 programming languages. Okay, so that you understand programming better. Okay, and you will be able to write better codes. Okay, but if you are career oriented, because after completing your colleges, okay, you definitely need to focus in your career. It could be joining your father's business, mother's business, uncle's business, or getting a job in MNC, getting a job in SMEs, okay, or creating your own product. It will require you having understanding of programming language, and by analogy we have seen that there are two programming languages which is at the intersection of all the requirements. Now this is about future technologies. Okay, let's talk about from a different perspective. Okay, we have seen the any questions till now, because I've heard a noise from Pratyay. Do you have any question? Looks no. Okay. So now think from a different perspective that okay, if I learn Python, if I learn this, these are the upcoming technologies, I might get a job. Okay, but why not make sure that you can get a job by understanding the job requirements in the upcoming future. You have already heard about different companies are having mass layoffs. Okay, every big company in India or outside is doing mass layoffs. Okay, so what should I learn so that I can be fit in their set of requirements? Because company will ask you to stay if they know that you are a productive team member. Okay, so what is the case why people are getting laid off? If we understand this, okay, and then we decide that which tech or which programming language I should master so that I should never get laid off. Okay, if we think from this perspective, and we will see what programming language again comes, okay, into the picture, then it will give us a dual confirmation that okay, from the upcoming technologies we have learned that okay, these are the two tech that we need to learn. Okay, if from the upcoming requirements of different businesses in India or in abroad, if we decide that okay, these are the requirements, and if some programming language comes up, and then we again draw two circles, and then we check the intersection, what is the programming language which is coming, which will help us to decide that okay, we got the mantra that this is the programming language or languages I'll be going for, and it will help me to build my career. Okay, so this is another approach of thinking. So let's think from this approach. Okay, in India or in any country, most of the jobs are created by not by big companies. Okay, most of the jobs are created by medium scale companies. We call it MSMEs or SMEs. Okay, and most of the programmers are getting hired in SMEs. Okay, this is the backbone of any country. If the SMEs are good, like they will create multiple jobs. Okay, and they grow. And then again, there are startups nowadays, like there are plenty of startups which are coming, so they also create jobs. Okay, and obviously there are big companies who are hiring, and they will continue hiring even in upcoming days or years, because they have to hire. Okay, so if we think from that perspective, like most of the SMEs or startups are developing something which are actually in a communication with retails, means us, we are the normal, like the normal users, the normal buyers. Most of them, for example Zomato, for example Swiggy, for example like now we should not consider Flipkart as a startup, but consider like when it was a startup. Okay, Snapdeal, Myntra, okay, Nika. So what they have developed is a front end system which interacts with the users, normal users. Okay, and then normal user takes some action and do some like task. Even if you go to smartwatch apps, you will see this is all about interacting with the user by understanding the underlying technology of that particular smartwatch, and giving them whether their heart rate is uh, going up, down, depending upon whether they are running, walking, depending upon their movement, they calculate. So what we are seeing here is what we are seeing here is most of the companies are developing something which is for the users, for the normal users. Okay, there are some companies which are developing tools which is for the which are solely towards business. Okay, so if you have heard about companies like SAP, they do not develop something which you are interacting with. Okay, there are other companies like this as well, and you will never hear about them because they are business to business, B2B businesses. Okay, but if you see, there are plenty of, like not plenty, there are thousands or hundreds of businesses or startups which are creating tools for masses. Okay, for us. And when I say they are creating it for us, they have to use a technology which is available to us. Okay, so when I say which is available to us, means what? We have a tablet, we have a television, nowadays a smart television. We all have cell phones. Almost we all have like laptops or desktops. Okay, even if we don't have, we somehow use it through other channels. Maybe we use our friend's laptop, or maybe friend's computer, friend's smart TV, or like a smart watch or anything. So we need to understand how these tools can be developed. Okay, so to understand how like these tools can be developed, we need to understand what are the technology which is required. So for example, to develop a front end, you need React, you need Angular. Okay, you need for the backend you need Node.js. Okay, and you need, for the like development of backend, you need Python. Okay, you might need Laravel. Okay, so there are different techs which you need or you require to develop it. So if again we make that big circle again, now we have two confirmation that okay, this is the requirement or upcoming requirement, these are the tech, and the programming languages can be used in tech. Now we like match these two like circles, or check the intersection. Again we are getting with few technologies, which is Python, Node, JavaScript, Laravel. Okay, but even if we think more about it, it will come at Python, Node. When I say Node, it is fundamentally JavaScript because it is built on JavaScript engine. So it's Python and JavaScript. So from our like discussion, what we have learned today till now is we should use a technology which is gonna be used in near future, or we should learn a technology which is gonna give us a good career in upcoming requirements of near future. What is the industry is looking for? So like they are looking for some specific technology, some specific requirement, and those specific requirements can be built using that technology. Any questions till now? Any one of you? Okay, say yes or no. Just wanted to hear like if yes, Subhajit, please proceed. You can unmute yourself and you can ask. Or you can type. It's okay.
Hello, so am I audible?
Yes, Subhajit, please proceed.
Uh, Even if we learn new technology, won't it be like theory based? People working for Google and Amazon for 10 years are getting laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So they have working experience of more than 5 years. So in any interview, suppose off campus, I am applying for the job. All the knowledge I have is theory and bookish knowledge, and that person has working experience. So won't he be having the advantage?
That's a great question. I wanted someone to ask this particular question, and thank you, Subhajit, for asking this question because it will give us a clear picture to all of us who are here. Okay, so now think about this. First, it will not be theory based. If you want to learn, programming is not something that you can learn from a book. You have to do programming. Okay, even you do less or more, it depends upon how much time do you have or how dedicated you are, but at least you have to do something. Even like the first book that you have read about C, it asked you to create few of the programs like Edison, Fibonacci, some patterns or everything. So it cannot be theory based. Programming is something that cannot be theory based. So that is one thing that I'd like to add here. But considering that you know very little or know nothing, because you are a fresher, you do not know anything. Okay, you have learned programming languages, developed some small apps. Okay, of using that programming language. So, for example, the program of addition is an app. Okay, it helps you to put two numbers and get the addition. Don't consider apps as a full-fledged application that you see in your mobile app. Everything that automates something is an application. Okay, so now if you try to compare yourself with a person who's having 10 years of experience and who has been laid off, there is a reason why he has been laid off, not because he do not know programming. Think about this. He has been laid off because the level of knowledge that he had at that time and the cost that was getting implied by that person on that company was more. So it's a normal economical thing. If that person is adding more value to that organization, okay, and it is getting money from that organization for the as a compensation. So what this employee or employer relationship means, you or as an individual, if I work in a company, I like put my time there and they pay me, and using my time they build something, and building that thing, okay, helps them to achieve more revenue compared with what they have given me. If this is the case, they will keep me in my business, like in their business. So hiring you, even with your little knowledge or considering no knowledge, because I consider freshers are having no knowledge in the beginning, okay, and that's why we have like created few courses. I'll talk about it, okay, uh, at the end of the webinar. Uh, but even if you're having very little knowledge, they will hire you because your cost is less or makes no value to that organization till you learn. And if considering if you have learned things better today in your college, okay, it will even help you to land up a better job, because you are going to replace that individual who was having 10 years of experience by its 20%, considering that, okay. So if you want to replace me, for example, and if you come even with 20% of my knowledge, I can be replaced today, because you are having a possibility of learning more in upcoming days, and you can learn programming even faster, okay, because the way I have learned it is somehow different. Now the way you are going to learn it today is going to be different, okay. So that's why it is always like wise to update yourself. Like even if you if you have any friend or seniors who are into IT industry, you can ask them. It's always required to upgrade yourself on a day-to-day basis. If you don't do that, you will be laid off even today or maybe tomorrow, maybe after 2 years, but you are going to be laid off. That's a fact. IT industry works like this because the growth of technology is not linear. If you think about any other industry, the growth is linear. Means like if you draw X and Y, like normal, it will be a straight line or maybe some curved line. But in IT industry, it's like a hockey stick pattern or like normal exponential graph. Sometimes it goes flat and then it takes up like complete curve. So you have to keep updating yourself. Hope I have understood. Hope I have answered your question, Subhajit. Any other questions?
So I would like to add something is to Subhajit, like I'm Anand and I'm also co-founder of Verazol Labs Private Limited and I'm also part of Instali. So here I would like to add like the layoffs are completely financial decisions, economical decisions. There are requirements, certain requirements from the client which might be completed, and they might be working for some client which or some project which might have moved to some other company. So it doesn't matter like what you know and what they know. It's completely a company's decision based on the like requirement or work they are having. Along with that, there is a constant cycle of learning, which Vasu was telling. So you need to upgrade yourself. And if you're getting stagnant, because like say for example, if I would have started learning programming 20 years ago, there was no IoT. The processing powers of the internet speed was not that great, so that we can have IoTs, blockchains, and all the stuffs are new technologies. And say for example, if I didn't upgraded myself for Node.js or uh, for Django, for API developments, for microservice architecture, then what would have happened is that I would have become obsolete. As a person, I would have become obsolete because the technology on which I was working might not have might not get used in after 5 years. So for that, learning was was telling is that you have to create a base first, and then you have to constantly keep on building on top of it, like as the industry is moving, because IT industry is something like every sector is having their own requirement, IT requirements, and every sector have is having their requirements in a different scenarios, and for that they might upgrade technologies based on that. Okay, so yes, Vasu, you can continue.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming in, Anand. So, Subhajit, I believe your question has been answered. In case if you still have any doubt, you can unmute yourself and speak, or you can type. Okay.
Yes, sir. I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there is two. I believe there is two types of programming. One is competitive coding, and another is developing. So you are saying that we should now focus on development, like developing code. But there is like every company before taking an interview, they take a coding round. So we need to be good on good in CP as well. So we should be good in both the things, because I have seen people who are good in CP are getting better jobs than people who are like good at developing.
See, when I say you have to learn, first competitive programming is when you say you are talking about again the normal programming language like C, C++. Okay, because these are the questions which are getting asked by employers at the time of interview. Okay,
Yes.
so think about this. When I say developing, you have when you go for an interview. Okay, when you have learned Python, for example, and if you say that I'm better at Python, they will ask you questions from Python. The person whom you have seen earlier who has got a job through CP, okay, they might have mentioned verbally or through body language that I'm good at C or C++, okay, and they have asked questions related to that. So it's your objective that makes employers to ask some questions, okay, what you are looking for, because employers are not going to ask you questions from Node if you don't know. Okay, if employers are not going to ask from C or C++, if you say that, okay sir, I have in my college life I have mostly focused on Python, I have some basic understanding of C. You can ask me these questions or the questions related to C. I can do programming in C, because see, like what happens as an employer when I interview someone, okay, I wanted to see that whether this person has even studied in college or not. Okay, so I want to see his or her fundamentals, and these competitive languages that you're talking about is trying to, from the employer perspective, it is just trying to understand whether the person has given time to his curriculum or not. If the person has given even a small amount of time into his curriculum and then has developed, okay, his own understanding or his own programming language, like his own uh, way towards the programming language, I will be happy to hire him further compared with someone who has just studied. Okay, so you might have seen some individuals who were quite good in generating good numbers like YGPA or CGPA in your college. If you just talk to your seniors, you'll come to know they might have not landed a job, but the people who has landed to a job were those people who have not got good numbers or good marks, but they were doing programming. So when I say you have to learn development, it could be C is also a development. C is, I'm not saying only Python is the development, just become better at C. Okay, but what I'm trying to, like, what the agenda for this webinar is to understand how much growth you will get if you learn C, how much growth you will get if you learn C++, or how much growth you will get in upcoming years if you learn Python or Node or JavaScript. This is the agenda. I have like, you need to understand, we should never say that any programming language is bad. It's the choice of the tool that you're going to take today, which is going to make you a better engineer in future. A person who knows C will always be very good at C. A person who knows Python will always be very good at Python. But the implementation or the requirement of Python in industry is more today or in upcoming future, then we should choose Python. Is that clear, Subhajit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Any
Thank you.
other questions
And
from anyone? Yeah,
Vasu,
Anand,
I
please
would like to
proceed.
add, like, uh, What we are trying to say is that interviews are a tool which allows companies like us to shortlist a candidate. So we personally believe that there is no rejection. No one gets rejected. And for a single post, there are multiple candidate applications. Say, for example, if there is a opening for 5 developers, we get 100 to 200 developers application, and then we had to shortlist them. So whatever interviewing steps we take or our organization take is just to judge every them by a parameter and then shortlist them and then select them. So these are the steps which are involved. We can elaborate this, but not in this class. Apart from that, we are also here to tell you about the demand and supply. So, because maximizing your job opportunity will totally depends if you align yourself with the current market demand, and we are here to tell you how can you maximize your position according to the current market demand so that you can get multiple job opportunities and maximize your job job success rate, getting your job, getting the jobs quickly. So that is why we are here.
It's about getting fit into the wave which is going on rather than doing something which might be opposite of the wave. So if you just follow the waves, you are going to land to your destination faster, quicker, compared with if you take another route. And you might, or you will, if you have the guts or like a skill or grit, you will reach your destination, but it might take some time. So the agenda for this webinar is to tell you is how to select a tech which can land you a job quite easily and how to prepare for that particular tech. Okay, what is the requirement in the industry right now, because we know how the industry is changing because we are part of it. Okay, we are developing tools for industry, so we know the requirements are getting changed every day. The thing around 10 years ago, everybody was talking about PHP. Okay, you might have also heard from your seniors or some of the old IT professionals like us that there was a requirement in 2013-14 that PHP was everywhere, but nobody is talking about PHP today. There is a reason for it. It does not mean PHP is bad. Okay, but people are talking, if they are talking about PHP, they are talking about PHP with a framework, for example, Laravel. Okay, they're not talking about core PHP, just PHP at its core. If we are talking about, even today we talk about Python with Django, but just Python is also good enough to get a good career. Okay, so there is a difference which comes in tech if you follow along the requirement of the industry and how the industry is changing, what are the technologies which are getting in, how to learn that tech, how to become master at it. Obviously being master requires you to do a lot of programming, but uh, uh, to like how to become better at it. Let's not say master at it, let's say how to become better at it and get a job quickly or develop your own application. Whatever you want to do in your career can be decided based on that. Any questions till now? Any one of you? Hopefully Subhajit questions has helped you to understand things better. If not, please type or just unmute yourself and you can speak. And apart from that, let's proceed and understand as we have talked about some two technology or three technology which can help you to build your career. So if you're coming from a background, when I say background means in your college you have learned C, C++, in your curriculum you have learned Java. Nowadays I have seen some of the colleges has introduced Python, but not all of them are teaching. Okay, I'm talking about masses, not just in West Bengal, I'm talking about different colleges in different parts of India. Okay, so some of the in West Bengal I've seen they have introduced IoT in the curriculum itself. Okay, so that's a good thing which is happening, but in some of the colleges I have not colleges, universities, I have still I'm still finding that they're again still working on the old tech. Okay, and they're following that particular tradition for even till today. So what is happening here, if you one of you are from that college, it's it's gonna be helpful for you guys to understand mm, that you should select a tech which can give you a better career in near future. Now let's see how we can learn that particular tech. Okay. See, when I say if you're coming from a background, so for example, if you're coming from C or C++, it is quite easy if you're putting your time uh, to a tech, it is quite easy for you to learn that particular tech. JavaScript you can learn quite easily. Python you can learn quite easily because these languages are simple to understand and quick to implement. And the advantage of these programming languages is that whenever you're developing even a small thing, you can actually see it working. With C or C++, you used to see it working, but on a boring terminal. But using Python or using JavaScript, you can see it in a web browser and you can actually see it working, which gives you a motivation towards learning that particular language. But we also need to understand that programming languages are not just like just understanding programming languages nowadays is again not going to help you. You have to learn something extra. So for example, if a company is trying to hire someone, they will look whether you know version controlling as well. So you definitely have heard about Git, uh, push pull, maybe branching methodologies, maybe deploying, maybe as Anand was mentioning, serverless, okay, microservices, load balancers, okay. So if you're developing something, or if you're even learning for just for the what we call it interviews, you need to have a basic understanding of these items, okay, so that you can actually present yourself better at the time of interview, or even at the like even if you're just developing a tool, okay. So when we talk about this, that's why we have actually created few courses, okay, which will be interesting for you. If you guys check it out, you can go to our website instantly.com. We have created few courses because we wanted to teach upcoming students from the industry leaders who are actually doing it from a long time, and it will help them to build their career faster. So I'm just gonna drop the like website in our chat, and we'll ask you guys to check it out so that you can understand how you can learn from these courses any programming language of your choice, how you can use these tools, how you can maintain the version, how you can deploy it, how you can create even microservices for that using that particular programming language. So most of the programming language can be used to create microservices. But if you are kind of a specific to any specific servers, then requirement of microservices changes. So for example, if you're having understanding of AWS, and if you want to build a career with programming language with AWS, you have to learn like Python and Node. If you're coming from Azure background, it could be .NET. You can use .NET to create like microservices as well with C# actually. So there are multiple things that you can do at the process of learning these technologies, okay, and which you can like if you get enrolled, you will be getting a good guidance in understanding that, okay.